I'm Dave Hughes and welcome to my shop. Today I'd like to take a little bit of time and talk to you about some issues that I've been having on my bandsaw. Now, one of the great features about a bandsaw is the versatility of what you can do with this machine. There's all sorts of jigs and fixtures out there that you can buy pre-made to work on the bandsaw. It's great for cutting circles, trimming off pieces, boxes, and one of the handiest things that I've found lately is an item that Carter came out with called the log mill. I've got one back here. The log mill allows you to take a standard log and basically resaw it or cut it down for turning, or you can find some real unique things in the fire pile and gives you control on the bandsaw. It's capable of handling some really big pieces, but the problem with this is the weight of the unit and the size to operate on the bandsaw. This is not a relatively large log in here, but I've put big logs in here up to about 14-inch diameter. They end up weighing about 40 pounds, which makes it kind of cumbersome to work. And when you drop that onto your bandsaw, the table is so small that we have no support out here to hold on to it. And as you run that past the blade, you have no support on the backside and it wants to tip off the saw. So let me show you a brand new solution called the Super Wide Miter Guide, which is really going to help for using this jig and many others. Now, the Super Wide Miter Guide is a 36-inch long aluminum extrusion. It's been milled to have these little point grooves on the top to cut down on your friction. It's got a miter slot built right into it. And when you flip it over on the back side, we've got 3 T-channels on the back side. And the center T-channel is raised that fits into your miter slot, which means to install this on the table, it's as simple as dropping it down onto that slot and basically locking it to the table. It's a very simple installation. Now, before we do that, it comes with the hold downs that lock it securely onto your table, and they fit right into that center T-track. One goes here. One goes on the back side here. We flip these two over, drop it down, and I like to center my track up. Bring that down and tighten the nut on one side. Come back here on the other side and tighten it up, and we're nice and secure onto the bandsaw. Now, the other problem though is the weight. When I run those large logs down onto my log mill, it puts about 40 or 50 pounds of weight onto this small table and also onto the trunnions on the underside, and I don't want the table to tip or the saw to tip over on me. So included with the Super Wide Miter Guide is 2 support legs. You get one for the front side, and they fit right into those T-tracks. Again, you don't need any wrenches to install these. We tighten up the knob here. We get a second leg for the back side. We slide that into the same exact T-tracks. And we secure that one in place. And now we've taken all the weight off that table, so it doesn't matter how big or how heavy the piece is, it's supported by those 2 legs on either side. So let's go ahead and grab our log mill here. And what I like about this now is that we can set our log mill on our super wide miter slot. I got the full range operation and it's not dropping down to the ground. Now on that extrusion, we have those milled in little V-grooves that cut down on the friction, which means now when I run this past my saw blade, it takes very little effort as far as control and pushing it through. So there's very little friction on that surface. Also notice that I'm already past the blade and the log mill's not dropping down onto the ground. So it really gives us that added support to help us run those bigger pieces of projects through our bandsaw. Now, what if you want to build your own jig for resawing logs and you want to do really long logs? Well, there's an accessory, which is an add-on track. This is another 36-inch long track. Inside this packet here, you receive the connectors, which would allow you to connect this onto the end of your standard guide and basically double the size up to 72 inches in length. And you can even add a third if you really would like to, but I think that 2 of them is more than enough for just about any project in the shop. Now, this item is not exclusive to be used on the bandsaw. I've used this on my router table and I've created custom coping sleds. I've used it on my table saw to create custom crosscut sleds and extending that miter slot out to run those pieces through. I think it's an incredibly handy accessory to have available, whether you're buying pre-made jigs or you're building your own jigs. I'm Dave Hughes, and thanks for watching.